Hello everyone, welcome to my study. I thought I would make it indoors this time, so I won't do all of these from this room as I do enough work in here anyway, but I thought maybe I should do one in here. It's a bit grey, as you can see, amazing backdrop. But yeah, welcome to the second edition of my Global Sports Social. No one has sent in any better name suggestions. It is today, Monday, July the 16th. So that's the edition we're doing today. We're going to try and do these daily, maybe every other day. It was Father's Day yesterday, so apologies there wasn't one yesterday. It's a good start, wasn't it? But still, we'll do it daily. Try and keep it under 10 minutes. I've got a timer, so that's good. And yeah, we were just going to reflect my job with the Athletic, because a lot of people wonder what I'm up to now. I'm just going to talk about the world sport, as much as I'm following, as much as I can take in. Alongside that, I want you to ask me questions, tell me what sport you're watching, what I'm not watching, what I should be watching, correct me where I'm wrong. People are great at that, and I love it. Tell me where I'm right, if you really want to. Give me some insights, and then I can share it to the room. I just want to hear from you, whatever it is. Drop a comment in. You can also email me if you want. mbailey@theathletic.com. There you go. It's my work email. You can send me that. It's probably the best one. The only agenda here is that, yes, I work there for The Athletic, and I figured I might share some of the stuff that is really good that we do if my colleagues are doing it. So I'll flag that. But generally, it's just about talking about sport, really, and what a lot of sport there was. I'll normally do like 3 or 5 things. What have I got on my list for today? Yes, I'm going to start with the Club World Cup. Now, I wasn't expecting to, but on Saturday I got to cover the opening game of the tournament in the US. Al Ahly against Inter Miami in Miami. Now, I hadn't realised while I was doing this that I do actually own an Al Ahly shirt. Here it is. There you go. It's a beautiful shirt, isn't it? It's a really good one. I'm not a paid influencer, as we all know, or much of an influencer of anything, really. It's a very dull story. I did the mystery shirt in a box thing for a little bit, and this was one of the shirts, and I've kept it because it's beautiful. So I didn't wear this while I was doing the live coverage, but yeah, I thought I'd show it off. As for the game, I mean, this tournament, there's like a portion of my brain that's very excited about this tournament because it's cool. You've got loads of the world's clubs coming together to play. But it also could be terrible. And I wouldn't say I know which way it's going to go with, a few games in summer. I mean, Bayern Munich thrashing Auckland City, as lovely as some of the background story is of that, is a bit of a joke, really. A few goalless draws. PSG Atletico was all right, but then I think Atletico kind of binned it off halfway through because they'd had enough and we're getting a bit upset. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We've got Chelsea in action today, which is obviously very exciting. We've got loads of the games being covered over at The Athletic. I think I'm doing a couple later in the week. I'll try and remember later in the week what those two are when I do some prep for them. If you have DAZN or you sign up to it, you can pretty much watch every game, wherever you are in the world, actually. It's the same here in Australia. Watch it, see what you think. The opening game was erratic, I thought. Al Ahly probably should have been 2 or 3 goals up at halftime. Inter Miami, a funny team because they do have arguably the greatest player football has ever seen, but he's not quite at his best, obviously, because he's getting on a bit. Luis Suarez, I've seen him score a lot of goals and be incredible because I used to cover Norwich City, and he always scored hat-tricks against them. I wonder if loads of Inter Miami fans are like, oh, this is our chance to shine, or whether they are actually realistic about the fact they're miles off it when it comes to playing some of the bigger boys. I'm curious if any of you are watching the tournament or will be watching it. There's a bit of me. I wonder if once it gets going as well, it will start getting really interesting. I have probably naively high hopes for it all. It was a really big crowd as well for the opening game too. My eldest boy has become a bit of a big soccer fan, and he's really excited by it. So maybe it is for a younger generation than us people who may look at it and just go, oh my gosh, what are they doing? Give the poor guys a break. This is the thing I don't understand. Every sport seems to have a proper break for its players, except for football, except for soccer. Like in AFL, you basically got months off. The same with NFL, even though you've got the sort of run-up and pre-season and conditioning. Football is 6 weeks. Some of these players might get 4 weeks off, and that's it. It's ludicrous, because at some point you're just going to break down. Anyway, we'll see how it works out. I don't really mind them trying, but they need a proper break. They need to shorten the season somehow. I also want to talk about the US Open Golf because I got to do that this morning. Now, I know I was a little bit questioning and contradicting myself in that We didn't really have any particularly big names pushing, although Scotty Scheffler did kind of put in a little bit of a charge today. And I think maybe not having those big names in and around it for the first 3 days is tricky for a major. But when it came to today's drama, oh my gosh, it was fabulous. And Spaun did something incredible to win his first major in terms of holding the longest putt by anyone of the entire weekend. We had a rain delay. I was really hoping Adam Scott, he's a lovely bloke, and I was hoping he'd have a renaissance, and it looked for a while like he would, but him and Sam Burns both kind of got unravelled by teeing off last and having the conditions undermine their position ultimately. At one point, Sam Burns was told to play out of a puddle, basically, by the referee. It's like, come on, man, give the guy a break. But it was such drama. It did live up to the weight of what the US Open should be. And I love the fallout from these events. Like, there's 4 majors a year. You never quite know who's going to win it, generally. And the imagery, the pictures, the reactions and the emotions of those moments when it all gets done and dusted, it's just compelling to watch. It's why I love watching a trophy lift. I love watching people get presented with their winnings and winning as much as the actual journey of getting there. So yes, I can highly recommend that. It was great. It was great to watch. And at this point, I will recommend Justin Ray's brilliant breakdown of the final round and indeed the US Open as it unravelled over at Oakmont. I will put a link in the notes that I put on this, so it's there for you. There was the cricket test world final thing. I didn't watch any of it. South Africa won, which we were kind of expecting. If any of you watched it, I don't know. And from what I could tell, no one in Australia was that bothered by it. It might be a bit different when the Ashes comes along, but yeah, I don't get the impression. I mean, if you watched it and followed it, let me know, but I'm not going to mention it anymore because it seemed to pass me by. And I want to talk about Formula One because I caught up with the Canadian Grand Prix. I didn't cover it live for the Athletic this weekend, but I have caught up on it all. Fair play to Lando Norris owning up to his mistake, going literally into the back of his teammate. Most drivers would not admit to that mistake. But what is he doing? Teammate, but there wasn't the space. I mean, it's a ridiculous error. It cost him so many points. There are going to be quite fine margins between those two at the end of the year. What a silly mistake for someone who, in theory, should be ahead of his teammate at this point. He had that battle last year with Max Verstappen. He should be in a position to capitalise this year, not now having to find himself battling with his teammate, who just looks calmer, more composed and more consistent. You would trust Oscar Piastri much more than you would Lando Norris at any point and at any circuit in the season, really. And a word for Red Bull, because only Red Bull would appeal the race result after the event, I feel. I don't know, maybe Mercedes would if they were in a grump. Red Bull are in a grump with George Russell, who drove brilliantly on Saturday and Sunday, clearly. But yeah, I don't know if Max Verstappen was particularly bothered, but Red Bull clearly were. Quite right that they actually lost that appeal, because that was ridiculous. Don't do that again. I very much want your messages. As I said, part of this is you talking to me about stuff and sending me messages, and then we can talk about them in here and we'll squeeze it all into 10 minutes. So thank you for so many lovely messages about the fact that I'm doing this. I don't expect a big audience. It might be no audience, but I hope it's just fun and compact and something that might make following the sport fun every so often. As I said, I'll try to do it every other day, every day, something like that. We'll see how we get through. But thank you. I appreciated a lot of kind words. Let me know what you're watching, what you're thinking, what you're wondering. We'll try and address all of those. I will try as best I can. And my old colleague at Archant, Pete Raven, actually messaged me. It was a personal message. So Pete, I owe you a reply. I've not got there yet. I have read it. But he mentioned the NHL, which is ice hockey, in case you're wondering, and the Stanley Cup final, which is a series. It's taking place at the moment. Now, I went to the playoffs last year when the New York Rangers happened to be playing at Madison Square Garden while I was in New York, which was amazing because I'd always wanted to go to the Garden. It was an incredible experience, incredible game. I've not really followed much ice hockey. I don't know much about it, but I do like checking in on it. I saw some of Game 4, which was a remarkable win for Edmonton Oilers in Florida. And then I caught some of Game 5, which was a pretty decisive win for the Panthers. So the series is quite nicely teed up at the moment. And as Pete said, because I'm going to quote you now, Pete, it is, and I genuinely didn't know this, it is a repeat of last year's final. And McDavid, I don't know what his first name is, should have researched it, is the best player in the world. I'm guessing that's Pete's opinion. And he's on the verge of ending up a runner-up yet again. So presumably Edmonton lost last year's final and they're on the brink of losing this one potentially. So, yeah, maybe we should all watch Game 6. We will have coverage of it at The Athletic, I would imagine. I'm sure Michael Dominski will be doing that, my esteemed colleague who is incredible at doing live hockey and just a giant of a man, wonderful fellow. So, yes, catch that because he's great at the ice hockey, and I will try and do likewise too. Racing over time again, but what I will say is I'm very excited that tomorrow I'm doing Game 5 of the NBA Finals, which I'm really looking forward to, back in OKC. And yeah, I'd be slightly nervous maybe that this would be the typical moment that Indiana would rock up and Tyrese Haliburton does something nuts in the final few seconds and they go and win Game 5, and all of a sudden you've got a game back in Indiana that if the Pacers win, they are NBA champions for the first time. It's going to be brilliant. So I also don't know what I'm doing for 6 and 7, so I've got to make the most of it. But yeah, that will be exciting. Follow that if you fancy watching and having some second screen experience on the basketball, because the NBA coverage is phenomenal. And I so thoroughly enjoyed my AFL experience with the Fremantle Dockers. It was an incredible game. These games of Aussie Rules football can be so competitive and so much fun. Dockers look like we're going to run away with it, as they probably should against North Melbourne, which was a home game for North, but in Perth because they sold it. They need the money. Freo should be winning this game. They should be making the top 8 at the end of the year, which would get them into the finals. But North came back, they kept chipping away, and in the end it was a really tense few minutes. It needed a late Luke Jackson goal. And honestly, if you haven't really taken in AFL, you should try and sort of see some of it, because some of these games are complete blowouts, obviously, but a lot of them are so competitive, and the roars of the crowd, it's such an important sport here. I love how important it is, and it's just so much fun to watch. So that would be my recommendation. I'll probably keep chipping away at you on that one. But well done to Freo. It was great to see the Dockers play. It's the first time I've seen a live AFL game since we came over to Australia, having seen one 2 years ago when I got to see the other Perth team, West Coast Eagles, play. They're having a difficult time of it at the moment, but I'm sure we'll check in with them again in future. But yeah, that was brilliant. I recommend going if you don't. But then you'd probably be in Australia anyway, and then you're probably going to go, I would imagine, because a lot of people do. But yeah, more AFL content on the way. NBA Finals tomorrow, which is Tuesday for me, but it will be Monday for probably everyone else in the world. But also, I've got Club World Cup games coming up. I need to check which games they are. I'm hopefully going to go and play some golf, because I now have itchy feet after watching the golf. That does normally happen. I need to remind myself how bad I am at it. I will check in again with you in a day or two. But what I will do, what I thought I would do, I'll try and make this a regular thing, is leave you with my sports thought of the day. And today, my sports thought of the day is, I wonder what JJ Spaun is up to right now. Goodbye.